Boom! Good evening, good afternoon, and good day. My name is Samuel Davis III, and I am the host of Uplift Our Community, powered by Bridge Visions. So today, got a little request today, and I wanted to bring it to the guys, and I wanted to have a thought, and I wanted to have an opening conversation about the subject. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read you my opening statement, and then we're gonna go from there, and we're just gonna jump right into it. What's really driving you right now? Not what you tell people, not what you post online, but what's underneath it all. Is it love, the kind that gives you purpose and keeps you grounded? Or is it fear, the quiet pressure that keeps you moving so you don't fall behind, don't fail, don't get exposed? Or maybe it's something else, something deeper. Anger, ego, something you haven't even taken the time to name. Because the truth is, most people don't consciously choose what drives them, they react to it. And if you don't understand what's driving you, you can spend years building a life that looks right on the inside, but feels off on the inside. So today, we're going to slow this down and really look at it. Not just what motivates you, but whether it's actually building you or quietly breaking you. So I'm going to bring my guys in and we're going to have that conversation about what is really driving you right now. Hate, love, or fear. As I bring the crew in, let me remove this thing here in front of me. Just a moment. And I want to bring that question up because it was important that someone sent that in. It was important enough that someone sent it in. So I'm gonna start with my man Jay. Jay,
no. I'm gonna tell you what we did last week. I have a problem with. I would answer that question for 2 minutes, and you'll say, "No, that's not what I meant."
Ooh, I did that to you?
No, because I guess I wasn't interpreting the question. So, okay. Gordon, go right ahead. Just kidding. Go on.
Well, so I'll jump in. Jay called me out. I'm here. First of all, I think it's a great question because everybody wants something, right? Everybody they want to improve their life. They want to get a better career or work their way up a career or start a business or improve life at home, the family and whatever. Everybody wants something better. Hopefully, obviously not everybody, but hopefully most people want something better. And to do that, you have to do things. You have to take steps. You have to set goals, and you have to, even break up the goals into parts or whatever the case. Take steps to take on new habits because the old you is not going to get you to the new you, right? So you maybe new habits and do daily activities and whatnot. But for me personally, right now, what's driving me is, I would say from this list, love, because I'm thinking I'm following my heart right now, right? And I'm going after the version of myself that I believe is who I need to be, who I should be, and all of that. That hasn't always been the case. In the past, I have, I've started, more than one business, and I've worked on that, and just due to my naiveness or ignorance or whatever, whenever I start a business, I always look at it like it needs to be numbers driven, right? And numbers doesn't necessarily fit in either of these, except that I think in my case it would have been fear. It would have been fear of getting out of my comfort zone, or fear of failure, things like that. And so in the past, if I was answering that question for the past, it would have been, what was driving me was fear. And now it's more about love and following my heart.
Okay. There we go. Before we jump into to get a response from Jay, I want to jump in with our senior statesman, Mr. Benji. Benji, what is it that is driving you? This is just one of those things. Just take a moment. It's not like you got to slam out and give an answer, but just think for a moment. We just got to be talking prior to this thing about business and how you had some focus. So
it's
before
it's
and
always
get
been
an answer, what's driving you right now?
It's always fear. It's always fear and anger. It always is. And the reason I know that is because that's what drives me to get to where I need to go, right? I always been that way. But like even like in the music, when I'm fearful, when I'm hurting, I made the most beautiful music. I haven't been able to produce anything when I'm uncomfortable and when I'm completely comfortable in love. I just haven't been able. I just produce normal stuff. But when I am in absolute anger and fear mode, I produce some extraordinary work, and that's part of just the way I was wired. So I was one of those people that got wired that way. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that was a very honest and open. That was a very open and honest answer from you, because you got to talking about business and you didn't even jump from it. So I think that's deep inside, deeply rooted with you.
Yeah.
I want to say, just like Gordon, love is what's moving me right now. Before I jump into Jay and have him answer, because he wanted everyone to roll around. So I'm going to roll it around for y'all. I'm going to roll this thing around.
Watch last week's show. You'll see what I'm talking about.
So my thing is love right now. I have my wife and I, we actually have a show production that we're trying to put on, that we're going to be producing, that's going to be produced by this year's end. We're caregivers, and as I mentioned to you before, our house is under construction. So there's a lot of love, there's a lot of patience, there's a lot that's driving me right now. And it's a some could say I could use different things. I could use anger to drive it and push it faster. Hurry up, man. Let's get this thing done right now. I've been waiting for months. It's been 2 years. My patience has been worn thin, but the love of this project and what we're putting into it is what's really motivating me and keeping me going. So I'm in agreement with Gordon. Love is right now is moving me. Now there are other different aspects, of course, with different things, but for me overall, if someone wants to come up to me, look at me and say, hey, what's driving him? More than likely is love. So with that being said, Brother Jay, talk to us. Let me know what's going on with you. What's driving you?
Well, you know what? Honestly, I could say this. It's a stage aspect of that. Initially, it'll be the love of an idea. Just like, okay, dealing for as my patents were concerned, I would start off with going to dealing with a law firm that they have interest in backing me, what have you, and selling the passion about it. So that's that love. It's conveyed. Where the words may fail, the passion for the product and the project actually fills in the cracks. Once that part is cured, it's the audacity. It's the I want to do it in spite of what people say can't be done. Okay. So I have something to prove, so it's just like, I'm not doing it because of them. I'm doing it to spite them now. It's like, you say we couldn't do it, I'm all in. It's that anger that helps you, fighting the anger. I know these are not necessarily healthy emotions, but they get things done. Okay. So it gets you to that next level. The commitment that, which is, I think it's the true love of the actual process. It's the actual making things happen, is when you get a chance to see how you're affecting people's lives, when you get a chance to see that you're making a difference, when you get a chance to see that your presence has been felt, that your work is being acknowledged or appreciated, even when you're not around. Okay. That's a love for a creator. Okay. I had a chance I worked with think tanks before, do creative problem solving, stuff like that. Something Benji was talking about earlier, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, I don't really talk about that. I remember when 2008, when we were dealing with the financial crisis, I got a chance to see the equations before a lot of the equations that were driving the mortgage-backed securities on Wall Street before a lot of people didn't know what was really going on. I was working for, took on this project for a gentleman that shorted stocks. So once I'm in there, it was, you know, my mathematics background was pretty solid and what have you. He gave me all this stuff, and I'm thinking, you know what? It didn't make sense to me. I'm like, okay, I'm doing more research, what have you, and I'm just going all in. I'm like, you know, when I talked to him a few days later, and he like, well, what did you think? I said, it's all crap. And he said, it took the other guys months to figure that out. It took them months to figure that out, because it's just you know, it didn't make dollars, it didn't make sense. But it was the me trying to prove something to myself and to the people that's in that room. I knew what I was talking about. It was the audacity to just step forward. So that was a great motivator that allowed me to go that extra mile.
Wow. That was a very multifaceted answer right there, because I think you almost encapsulated 4 or 5 different questions that I'm going to already think to drop up on the group right now. So thank you for that. Jay. They don't need to clock out, because I can dig deep. I got my list. You know, I break down my list. I got so many questions that I ask that lead us going places, and then I kind of pick and choose from there. So with that being said, because this kind of starts with what we were talking about, and I think you might have answered it. This is why I said your answer was multifaceted. Here's my next question that I want to ask the group right here. I'm gonna post this up right here. If someone watched your life closely, what would they say is actually motivating you? If someone watched your life closely, what would they say is actually motivating you?
I'll step out. I'll rescind my.
No.
I was trying to apologize for my cowardice.
Let's ease up, slow down. You just got to put me on a pin a minute ago. Hold on now. Let's back that up.
Yes, sir.
This one goes. I'm going to start this one off with you, Gordon. I think I have a lot of respect for you, Gordon. I've studied with you for the last couple of years on a weekly basis. I've known you out in the community. I've seen you work on television products. You've done video productions together. We've done. I've seen a level of growth in you, and I've seen how you interact with your sons. And it's probably one of the most amazing things to me. I'm not here trying to just get your head swollen up in a certain way, but I think the things that you have instilled into your sons, I think, is amazing on a wide scale. It's very amazing. So to me, when I see you, I see nothing but love. Like you mentioned earlier, I see nothing but love and care, and coming from a place of that you actually lived it. So you actually push that love and you carry it. I don't see how that's going to change, to be honest with me. I don't see how it's going to change for you, because your oldest son is how old now?
25.
You've been at that for a while. And even when I've seen him last, he still has this Gordon-esque quality about him. There's something about him. It's really awesome and it's amazing. So I want to ask you, if someone watched your life closely, and you being, and this goes to everyone here, being skeptically looking at yourself, if someone looked at you closely, what would they say is actually motivating you? That's on you, Gordon.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I mean, from my perspective, it's different. But you just said if somebody else is looking at you and skeptically, right? And so that changes, because I was already like, okay, you know, we were looking at the questions on the phone before and everything, trying to just, you know, gather our thoughts. But I think that if somebody was looking at me from the outside skeptically, they would probably think, as far as the motivation goes, maybe ego. As far as like what I want, and out of the things that I'm doing, like why am I doing them and what I want out of them, you know, I think people have thought that I wanted to be on the city council. I think people have thought that I wanted to, you know, maybe run for something like mayor later on and things like that. I think people have thought various different things where it always includes, you know, taking on some kind of leadership title in the civic sense, right? And so, and in all honesty, I honestly don't want any of that. And so, but I think that that's just natural or normal for people, at least here in the US, to think that, because a lot of the things that I do are related some way to what's going on at the local government level. And anybody else that would be involved in that, you know, consistently for a period of time, because I've been active. And the only reason why I know this, because there was a big turning point in my life in 2015. I've been active on the city level since 2015, just starting out, trying to figure out who's doing what and who I can support. But I've always taken on the perspective of wanting to support things that are already happening. I wasn't trying to start my own thing. I wasn't trying to, you know, actually I lied. At the beginning, I jumped into it wanting to do my own thing, but I quickly pivoted because there's a lot of really amazing people here in our city that are doing great stuff, and there's no point in starting a whole new program. And so, being that I've been doing that for what,
you know, you're one of those people too now, right?
Oh no,
you do know you're one of those people.
I'm supporting one of those people, a few of those people, I guess. I contribute.
You are one
work.
of those people, and I have to say that, and that's why I have to bring that up to you, because you know sometimes you don't pat yourself on the back sometimes. And Gordon, I'm telling you, you are amazing, dude. You do a lot in this community that goes unspoken.
That really goes I appreciate unspoken. That. Yeah. And I think anybody looking at that from the outside who doesn't know me, obviously you and I, Sam, we're close friends and all of that, but who doesn't know me, I think they are wondering, what is he up to? What is he trying to do? Like, well, you know, why has he been, you know, doing this work for that long and he's still doing it, right? And it really just is just wanting to better the community. As you said, I have 4 boys, you know, my wife and I have 4 boys, and what better way to improve their future than to try to improve the city that we live in, the community that we live in, and all of that. And so I have absolutely no interest in any of that city government stuff, not even as an employee. Like, there have been positions that have come up and they're like, you should apply for this. No, I don't. I want to be detached, right? Like, I don't want to go to something and be in a meeting and say, this is a terrible meeting or whatever. But I'm on the clock and I'm getting paid while I'm here, you know? So that whole, that doesn't interest me. It really is about just the younger generation. And I think other people wonder sometimes. And I'm also, I was thinking about this the other day, and in my head, I've been calling myself a sheep in wolf's clothing. Not a wolf in sheep's clothing, a sheep in wolf's clothing. Because I really am part of the community, although I have the skin tone, the age, and the gender of those that are kind of in control. So, but I'll stop right there.
I see that. And that sounds like another podcast for another conversation, because that's also part of your religion. Has a lot to, your faith has a lot to do with that. And it drives you in a certain way as far as being that sheep or being the wolf. And exposing yourself in a certain way. So
well, I mean, in a lot of the work that I do, a white male, middle-aged white male, going into these communities, Latino communities and whatnot, doing the work that I do, I'm sure my first impression on a lot of people is like, who is he? What is he doing here? What does he want? You know? And so it takes me a while to warm up to people and so, but I'm fine with that, because there needs to be more people of my skin tone working for, you know, equality, equity, and all of that stuff, anti-racism and whatnot.
That's what I should have been a little more detailed. That's what we call that passing. For some of us, they call that passing. They have certain skin tone and complexion. You can get in and do things that folks don't understand, and they're wondering, what is your motivation for coming in? Because they're looking at you and your skin tone and complexion and say, hey, You supposed to be here, and then when they
Yeah,
find out who
right.
you are,
Was he at the right meeting?
yeah, exactly. So now let me throw this up to my man Benji here. Benji. So with that being said, we talked earlier. Your if someone watch you closely, at least from us over here, we know that Benji is all about the Benjamins. He's about making money. Benji is about making that cold hard cash. Seriously, I want you to seriously think about this, Benji. What do you think other people think about you? And what would they say that's motivating you? What would they say?
That's a good question. I don't really honestly know them. I'm pretty sure they think it's ego probably, but I don't engage very much. Like my friends know I can't stop. It's just my nature, right? And so my best friend never could understand how much drive I have, right? And that's the reason I told him like, let me take you where I grew up, and that's where the drive was, and that's what the yellow trailer was. It's like I will never come back here ever again. So the other people doesn't know all that. I don't share my life with anybody at all. You know, so you guys are very nurturing, and I really don't share. Nobody barely knows me. So even in my community and business, they only know my persona. They don't know me at all. And I won't allow certain people to come in because, like I said, I've been in this business for so long. I also know what they do. You know, like when you show vulnerability, that's what they do. But ultimately, they think it's just ego. Mostly, I think most of the business people think it's ego. Yeah.
Do you think that's a defense mechanism that you use to keep them away from you? That you're
Poss-
busy and you don't talk to them? I mean, is that part of the persona, or is that something that you're using to hide yourself from them? Do you genuinely don't want to really engage with them and just want to go in there and make that money, or do you mind engaging with them as you need to and then get that money?
Well, it's a little more. It's more to that, right? So it's not completely just money part, right? Because
Okay.
you have to understand the wiring for me. It's not just the money. It's like expressing thing. So without money, I can't express certain things, right? So artists can only do so much if you have no supply. It's a difficult thing. So now you say all that. I pay 3 house mortgages for people that I barely see for the last decade. So yeah, it's part of what I do. It's part of my responsibility. So can you imagine having a $6,500 mortgage for the last 10 years? And that's not including mine. I live in a hotel. I sleep on a dog bed, right? So if you add that up for the last 10 years, that's $7,500 bill. So I made that commitment to them. So part of that is doing that. Now, because I'm able to do that, it allowed me to do the music, the writing, and all that stuff, right? Now, why don't I engage with these people? I don't sound mean. I don't understand them, right? I don't understand the mundane stuff, right? Because they focus on like the mundane stuff that I don't understand, right? So I kind of like not to be rude, but I don't know what to say to them, right? So like my ex family, right? They talk about things like, like day to day thing, like, I just don't know anything about it. Brooklyn sometimes have to like come and help me. It's like I said, Brooklyn, I don't know what they're talking about. Things like that. I'm just not engaged in that too much. And it's not I'm trying to be rude. I just don't understand why you focus on those things, right?
Okay. Okay. I hear that. Jay, comes up to you now. We rolling back around to you. What is it that drives, what is that anybody else would say about you that drives you? And what would they say that motivates you? You got a lot of hands around your community, especially with the population that you're feeding. And I'm sure you see all kinds of things. And you're running a nonprofit that feeds, I can't tell you how many thousands
Over
of
3,000,
miles.
yeah, over 3,000 families a month.
Yeah. So the question is, for someone like you, what do you think people are thinking is driving you to do what you do? What do you think people are thinking? What would you think people are saying?
I would say people would probably say that my sense of commitment to my community, sense of for his equity and inclusion, for us to make sure that, you know, a sense of honor and dignity that we all should be able to have to be able to help take care of our families. You know, those things are very important to me. And it's kind of strange because, you know, kind of bouncing off a bit of what Benji was saying. When people get to know me and they find out all this, like, you know, for being an inventor and working on a TV show and all that, it kind of dawns on them like, well, you're a capitalist too, right? You know, so and I try to find that marriage between those two worlds because, you know, even quietly, as much as is known, it's like a lot of my personal finances are used to help run the charity.
Mhm.
You know, because we have, although we work with a mutual aid dynamic, we find that our drivers that really mean well, that want to go that extra mile, literally, we help, you know, pay for their gas, help them, you know, make sure we can get donations to their church or their other groups that they work with, and it's been a balance. Conscious capitalism. I just thought about that. I just created that. I'm gonna have to trademark that name. Gordon
I believe
Shadow,
that's actually a book. That's actually a book, I believe, already.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I've read
Well,
that.
all right. So I'm stealing it from the wrong guy. What's going on?
Mhm.
It's not
You
mine.
ain't sticking that one by. You capitalist,
Right,
you.
All right.
right,
Okay. All right. I
right.
might have inspired that too. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but yeah, but that you know,
yeah.
yeah. But I think for the outside looking in, and I take that with a lot of pride, is being able to hold my head up high in my community, and people just say, "That's one of the do-gooders. That's one of the people that are really trying to make a difference," and that means a lot to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. If you let me add on to this, I think a lot of people, especially they know me, money is like the least important thing for me. But money in this world gets you freedom, right? And when you come to like where we are in Texas, when I go to Four Seasons and stuff, money talks. Nobody bothers you. They give you the same service, no matter what. If I go take the same money to go to let's say the courtyard, I get shitty service. I get people looking at me strangely and all this stuff. It give me the freedom so that I can create, right? So now, how does paying 3 mortgages create me freedom? It's because it's kind of like I was there to help them get through this part of their life in the season, right? I'm there to help them that. That was part of my journey and my covenant with them, right? So with you guys, you do things with like nurturing people, you're taking care of the community. These are the things that I do for my little like internal community, right? So it's a different responsibility, but in this world, without money, you can't grease that wheel. It's an oxymoron. Like my driving force, people always they always ask my friend, like she asked me, like, why don't you care about this? This is like 10K. I'm like, Monica, you need to just take it. Like, but you don't have anything else after. Like, I really don't care. I can make more. Part of we talk about this. Part of it, the gift was I was given. I'm able to generate that, like with the energy that I have, right? So I have the gift of green thumb ever since I was a kid. So these are things that. How do I make that more like it's actually a good thing? Consciously make that money and be a good person, right? Now you can make those money and be a bad person. That's not what I want to do, and people do that. You're looking at the Bill Gates of the world, and you know those guys of the world, like that's what I'm saying right now. The ChatGPT thing, like the moment Microsoft bought that out, we knew it was trouble. Microsoft is one of the most evil state of all from perspective. But unfortunately, we use Microsoft Word, Excel, you name it. Everything's tie in, all that. But you gotta kind of maneuver your way around that. That's the thing. That's the thing. So people, like for you guys are like soldier and warriors. I'm the opposite of that. My father was a warrior and soldier. I was protected by him all the time. My role in Mr. Harris is a little different, you know, things like that for sure. And that's what I'm saying. It's a little different when people don't. And that's why when I struggle with being with normal people, and it's like I don't understand your motivation. Like, why are you struggling with this, right? And I don't have the patience to teach that, unfortunately.
Well, let me say this, Benji. You know, you say that we're warriors. Let me say something. To those 3 people that you pay those mortgages to, you're a warrior. You are a warrior to them. I know you're not living in all those locations, but you are a warrior to them. So you say you people or you guys like it's just us. You're part of this community too.
Yes, a different. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. It's I think I was reminded that a couple of times. I do appreciate that.
well, and with that being said, I want to say this because it's going to lead to my next question, and I want you all to take a quick, brief moment while I actually say this because here's the question. I want to make sure that I get it right there. If just 1 second, I just had it written and I just had it queued up. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I'm going to ask it to you straight up then. Are they building? It was because I'm trying to go around and keep this flow. If your main source of motivation disappeared, who would you be? Now, this goes to Gordon. If it wasn't about love for your kids, Jay, if it wasn't about helping out that community and doing what you do, Benji, if it wasn't about those 3 people that you don't really care about or nobody else, and you're just living in that little place where you're staying at, if it wasn't that, who, and again, just take this moment, who would you be? What kind of drive would you have?
I'm born and raised an explorer. I love to investigate. I love to accumulate knowledge. I love to experiment. Science has saved my life. Science has given me my purpose. You know, the logic and the mental discipline to be able to explore the secrets and hopefully get a peek behind the veil that makes the universe and consciousness. That I love knowledge for knowledge's sake. Okay, so if money wasn't involved or what have you, whatever I do, and I think a lot of people really aren't aware of it. Whatever you do and you try to master, it's all about accumulating the knowledge and being able to put it in a method where you can actually, or a technique where you can actually use it to accomplish your goals. Okay, so if it wasn't about being there for my family or it wasn't about my community or anything like that, it all comes down to trying to accumulate knowledge and explore and grow.
Okay. Gordon?
So I think that if it wasn't for my family, so the 3 most important things to me are my family, my faith, and my community. And if that wasn't anything, like I sometimes have like these weird thoughts, like what if the Matrix really existed and all of you guys were pixels and I was the only one existing, just feeding the battery or whatever, right? I feel like I would become like more of an activist, like more like I used to, before I started getting into financial services and all of that, I was studying to become like a white hat hacker or something like that. I was learning how to like fight through, because the internet's the future, right? And I want to fight for good. And I think in general, there's a lot of that, but even that is kind of fighting for others, right? But I think if it wasn't that, I think I would focus more inwardly to try to just get a higher level of peace, inner happiness. I would probably study myself more. You know, if I had 24 hours a day just to do whatever I wanted, I would probably look more inwardly and just, you know, yeah.
So let me say this then. You were telling me, Jerome, excuse me, Gordon, that you would would have joined up and been a member of Anonymous, the hacker group, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. You would have been a little bit more active politically. At least Anonymous would be the perfect thing for you, I think.
Yeah, because I don't want any attention. I'm never the person that likes attention. Even now, I'm not looking for attention. So yeah, I would try to learn how to do stuff, try to work for good, behind the scenes. And like I said, I believe the internet's just, it is what it is, right? And technology in general. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Benji.
A monk. Go back being a monk.
Oh.
Period.
Woo.
I'll go back to my mountain and stay there. And so that would be my thing.
Wow. Boy, that's. Do you feel like you're ready for that kind of life again? Do you think that you could actually do that? I mean, obviously we're not doing it right now, but
I've done it probably 1,000 lifetime, and I was asked to come here to feel what I'm essentially. In order to teach, you got to feel it, right? So that's exactly what's happening. So it's like I've been on a mountain for so long, been teaching all this theory for so long, but I have to come down to earth and apply this theory. Then I go back and say, okay, well, that didn't quite work. Oh, that worked. So until you're wise, you can't really become a sage, right? So for me, it's pretty simple. Like I always envision, because even my story, like when I was younger, like I told you this story where I was in the jungle. I met with the monk, and the monk asked me, "Do you want to play? Or do you want what do you want on this journey?" And I said, "I want to be of service." And when I went back to my grandparents, they said, "Who are you talking about? Those monks died a long time ago." So I was a monk at some point.
Wow, that's some spiritual stuff right there, hitting in a whole nother level. Yeah, Benj, I think over the time as we continue to have this podcast, it's like I learned a little bit more and a little bit more just gets peeled away about who you are. It's
you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I have such respect for Benji and a certain amount of fear.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Like right now he's probably floating. He's not even sitting there.
That's special effects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. It's like we all are training to be Yoda at some point, right? That's the thing. I mean, we all were spiritual, and we were asked to come here to feel that spirituality, right? Because this earth is so dense. You feel everything. Imagine, like, if you were an angel, do you feel love, pain, anxiety? No. But how can you teach that if you don't want to feel that,
Wow. Jay, did I ask you that question or did you answer that already? I'm trying to...
I did, but obviously I was the lowest performer of that round.
No, I'm trying to make sure
I'm okay with that.
Because look, I got a monk and I got a member of Anonymous, but I'm trying to remember what you were.
Every week I'm trying to say, did I insult you in any way? Did I do anything? I mean, I hardly apologize.
He's a scientist. He want to be a scientist and explorer.
Scientist. Okay.
Yeah.
Please forgive me, Jay. Please forgive me. And please don't hold it against me and bring last week's show into the next week. Please. Let's cut it right here. Lord have mercy. Okay, so being that we got about 3 minutes here, I want to try to ask one other question. So here we go. This is it. Have you ever outgrown what used to motivate you, and what did that feel like? Have you ever outgrown what used to motivate you, and what did that feel like? Now, I'm going to use myself as an example. Back when I was single, there was me and my friends, we always used to have competition about going out and who's gonna go out and meet a girl that night. Who's gonna get a number? That used to be the thing. That used to be the competition. You're gonna get a number? I bet you I'll get me 5. I bet you. That used to drive me. As I got older, Man, I realized, man, that's getting numbers is silliness. But I'm old now and I'm grown. And that motivation, that source of motivation, go out there and meet women and hang out and be, in being involved in the community in that way, that I've outgrown that. So with that being said, I want to hit you up, Benji, and you tell me, has there ever been, what's
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell me.
Ego. Like the ego thing when I was younger is about like corporate America, like getting a title and all that. That outgrow that quickly, right? Because it's like I don't care. You got MBA, PhD, whatever. If you got no result, you can't compete. I mean, at the end of the day, if you choke under pressure, you can't compete. So these are things are showing itself again and again. Now, all these people with the master degree and MBAs are going to go away real fast because AI is taking over. But I'll go the ego. So that's it.
Okay. All right. Gordon?
Yeah, I don't know if I've outgrown it, but I'm in the process of outgrowing that like a fear-based mentality. Like, just I'm just trying to go after what feels right, trying to tap into my intuition and going after that. But there's still, I always sometimes question myself, and then I like, wait, don't question yourself, just keep going, push through. And so I'm in the process of that. Yeah.
So with that being said, Gordon, because there is a certain point in time when you recognize that level, that there is a point where you had to question yourself. When did you gain that level of awareness within yourself? How old were you, or was it something going on in your life where you midlife crisis? You had your second child, you had a mortgage due, and all of a sudden this level of growth, boom, popped up on you. When did you feel that you could lean on your intuition like that?
I would say it was somewhere between like 2010 and 2015 or so. A buddy of mine and I used to have a print, graphics, and web design shop here locally. And after some time of having it open, we had to shut it down because the internet was just taking over and people could get their stuff done a lot cheaper overseas or through these massive companies online versus the local print shop. And that was difficult because that was like, we got it started, we got it going, and I was like, this is like the dream job. This is what I love doing. I love to create. I love to be creative. And now I have my own thing with my buddy, and didn't expect to close it, right? And so then we ended up shutting it down, and then that's when I had to stop and say, okay, there's something else out there. And then that's when I started looking at like, have you guys ever seen the movie Zeitgeist? I started looking at movies that were kind of counterculture and kind of, just like questioning everything. Like, what is this all about, right? And part of it was questioning me, and part of it was like, just learning to follow my intuition, because that's what leads to stronger inner peace, I guess. Just feeling good. Like, I don't want to be waking up in the morning and wondering if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so
Okay. Jay, come on, close us out, man. Talk to me. Have you ever outgrown anything that used to motivate you, and what does that feel like?
Absolutely. I feel that, what do they say? If you're thinking the same way you did 20 years ago, you wasted 20 years of your life. Okay. So it's just that depending on the time, the conditions, or what have you, or those desires in your life, it's going to be those certain factors that motivate you can change. Starting off as a kid in high school, I knew I wanted to be an inventor when I was like, when I was in junior high. I was always blowing up something in the house, so it was just
you say blowing up something?
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. So I was learning. Fortunately, my mother was very patient, and I was a latchkey kid, so we're good. I just knew how to clean up before she got home from work. That was the deal. So when it came down, it was started off as curiosity, which honestly overall it's been an overarching presence in my life, is the curiosity. All right. So, for as college is concerned, you just want to, you're unsure about certain things, but you want to make your path and what have you. You do that. And it's just that at this stage, I see a lot about legacy, because, I'm mid 50s. Well, I'm sorry, early 50s. I'm 54. So I'm just holding on to that. So I'm not mid 50s yet. Okay. So we're working on that. All right. With dear life, just holding on to it. So the deal is that I found that, friends, loved ones, people are passing that didn't even make it to 50, or their things are going on now. Nothing's promised. Okay. So like they say, you can't take it with you. So you want to do things where you can leave a legacy for your family, or, and you want to leave a legacy for the community. You want to, when that grand total is looked at on what you did in your life, for me, I want to feel that it's been a plus that I was on this earth, that I actually brought good to it. Okay. I get a little frustrated, because, the people can confuse the good guy with the welcome mat, but they learn quickly. The good guy is not the welcome mat. Okay. So, so you proceed and try to make a difference in your life. And hopefully the people around you, and you go forward with that. And as you grow, and you have your money, it's nice to go on vacations and do all that stuff or what have you. But when you're able to inspire kids coming up, or help change generational curses, where you can talk to families and say, you know what, it doesn't have to be that way. We got these groups over here. We help people find their tribe. I know I never wasted a day when I worked with my community. Frustrating or not, I've never wasted a day.
Wow. Jay, you have epitomized everything that we're trying to do right here today too, as well. That was an amazing statement that you just said. That is everything that we're trying to do. We want everyone to realize that there is a place that you can go to. There are people that you can get in contact with. There are places that you can go when you get to that point where you can't figure out what you want to do, or where your mind is locked up. And it's real important that each one of us hold that light up and continue to hold that light out in our communities. So thank you for that. Man, you just epitomized everything that we do. We do have a website that is complete, www.upliftourcommunity.com. We have an app that is in the Apple Store going through its run through and testing. And we also have our website that you can actually, if you missed this episode, you can go to youtube.com at Bridge Visions, our channel, and you can see in this and other episodes as well too. So with that being said, until next time, keep lifting yourselves, keep lifting each other, and keep uplifting our community. And talk to you guys on the next one. Take care now. Peace.